Alright guys, so in this question we are asked to evaluate the following limit using L'Hopital's rule. So basically if we plug in x equals 0 into this expression, we get an indeterminate form, which tells us that we need to use L'Hopital's rule. So we can first differentiate the numerator and denominator. So we use the chain rule to differentiate secant to the 4 of x. So we bring the 4 down, we subtract 1 from the power, and we multiply it by the derivative of secant of x, which is secant of x tan of x. And now we differentiate negative cosine squared of x. Once again, we bring the 2 down, subtract 1 from the power, and then we multiply it by the derivative of cosine of x, which is negative sine of x. And then we simply use the power rule to differentiate this over here, x to the 4 minus x squared. After further simplifying it, we get the following expression. And I've used this trig identity to go from 2 sine of x, cosine of x, to sine of 2x. However, if we plug in x equals 0 into this expression, we get another indeterminate form, 0 over 0. So we use L'Hopital's rule again. So this time we use the product rule to differentiate this. So we get 4 secant to the 4 of x times the derivative of tan of x, which is secant squared of x, plus tan of x times the derivative of 4 secant to the 4 of x. So once again, we bring the 4 down, subtract 1 from the power, and then multiply it by the derivative of secant of x, which is the secant of x tan of x. And then we use the chain rule to differentiate this again. So the derivative of 2x is just 2. The sign, so this becomes cosine, and then the inside stays the same. And then we use the normal power rule to evaluate this, to differentiate this. So we bring the 3 down, giving us 12, subtract 1 from the power, we get 12x squared. And then the derivative of negative 2x is just negative 2. And then if we simplify it here, we get this. So now we can actually plug in 0, which will give us a determinate form. So 4 secant to the 6 of 0 is just 4. If we plug in 0 over here, we get tan squared of 0 times 16 secant to the 4 of 0, which is just 0. And then 2 cosine of 0 is just 2, so we get 4 plus 2. And then we plug in 0 over here, this becomes 0, and then we get negative 2 over here. And then 4 plus 2 is 6, divided by negative 2 gives us negative 3, which is our final answer.